Alright, good morning, everyone. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I don't think we have any high impact news today. Nothing at all. But since yesterday was choppy, I'm hoping today's a bit more better for Nasdaq. Let's see the zones that we have marked up on Nasdaq. I've already been looking at Nasdaq for a bit, and I think it looks really good. I like the zones on it. I have a 4 hour supply zone up here that really hasn't been tapped into, and I think if the market keeps pushing up, it'd be a good area to either target or um, take a trade off from, especially since it's close. Another zone I'm looking at is this 2 hour supply zone, which we tapped into yesterday over here, and then ever since we've been going down. But what I like to look at is after we've tapped into some sort of zone, are we breaking structure in that direction? So, for example, today or yesterday we tapped into the zone here, but we really haven't broken structure to the downside. So, that could happen today, but usually when I don't see it break structure to the downside or whatever side it reacted off of, I do expect this zone to like break through it. And honestly, I think a breakthrough past that zone would make sense if the buyers are really strong. Another zone that I think I would take a trade off from is this 2 hour supply zone here that we've already tapped into here. If you zoom in on the 5 minute time frame, this zone here looks like it's true day open, which to me really doesn't matter. I just have it there, I don't know, as an indicator. It's just good to know. And we rejected it. So I like when price reacts off of zones already, it just makes me more confident in the zone, which is good. Another thing I like about today is this 30-minute demand zone that we've bounced off of a lot, right? But we haven't really broken structure to the upside. Like every time we've tapped into this area, we still haven't really broken out of this little range here. So I think today, to be honest, I'm hoping a breakout happens specifically on this range right here. And then if I do take that breakout, it would be off of these either this 2 hour supply zone or this 30-minute demand zone. And I think both ways would make sense. Obviously though, I think the longs would make more sense since it looks kind of bullish. But I'm down for either way. I hope I just hope there's better volume than yesterday. Yeah, that's Nasdaq. And then I'm also looking at US 30. Yesterday was a crazy open on US 30. I'm not sure we're going to have another crazy open today on it, but it'll be worth it to keep an eye on it, especially if it's more volatile than Nasdaq, for sure. The zones I have marked down so far on US 30 is this 4 hour demand zone, which we created yesterday. I mean, it's pretty far away from price, so I don't think, I'm actually going to trade off of this zone today at all, especially since it's pretty far away. Um, Another zone I have marked down is this 4 hour supply zone, which we broke through yesterday. But I think if we break these lows here, let's just say we did break those lows, I think a good target for shorts could be a retest of this zone here, which now that I measure it is not really like a big trade. It's around 100 points, but it'd be good enough for a trade. Going down to the 2 hour time frame, there is two 2 hour supply zones. We have a 2 hour supply zone right here, right at all time highs. And I'm going to mark all time highs blue just so I know it's there. And we're pretty close to it too, so it's just good to know exactly where it is. And then the other 2 hour supply zone I have is pretty close to price. So I think if I do trade US 30, I'd I'd rather have it off of this 2 hour zone here, which is pretty close to price. So if market opens up and it gets above this area here, above this 2 hour supply zone, I think it would be a good long into this 2 hour supply zone up here. Basically just trading zone to zone. And the risk to reward ratio would be really good on this as well. And then honestly, depending on how that trade goes, I could even target either this 50% line up here, which is at 419, or I could target all-time highs. But again, we'll see how the market opens up. We'll see. And then the last zone I have marked down on US 30 is this 30-minute demand zone, which the market hasn't tapped into. But I think if we get below this zone, I do think it'd be a good short into this 4 hour zone from yesterday. I think the markets look really good today. I mean, they looked fine yesterday, but the open on Nasdaq was a bit rough. But today could be better. What's your bias? Just join. Honestly, I don't have a bias. I try not to have a bias. Me personally, I've just realized whenever I do create a bias, it's just hard for me to like actually read the market. Maybe that's just me, but when I create a bias, I'm not sure if like my ego gets in the way or what, but it's harder for me to like actually read the market. Like I think it was last week, I actually created like a short bias, and even though the market was telling me to buy into the market, I was still thinking shorts because I created the short buys. It's just for me, it's just not healthy. Like I don't know. So now, whenever I do come into the markets, I just try to not even come up with scenarios, but just try to get an understanding of why the market would long and why it would short, or where I would take a long, where I would take a short. Like now my trading is just I mark down the zones and then I wait for price to react off of the zone. I don't know if I'm going to long or short. It's really just down to price action. But now that I have all the zones marked down, I'm just going to do support and resistance, my white lines. And the white lines I really just use most of the time I use them for like, for example, retest. If I'm thinking longs or something, I kind of wait for a retest of either, one of these gray zones or a white line. The white lines don't help with like, understanding like what way I'm taking. They're really just there mainly for a retest. And I'm pretty sure there's a gap down here that hasn't been filled. Yeah, this small gap here from Sunday, which I'm gonna mark out orange. I mean, it's pretty far away from price, but you never know. The market could get down here pretty fast. Another thing I'm gonna watch out for today is if it's like a really crazy volume, I might have to size down to micros. So I'm definitely gonna be measuring out this open just to get an idea. Okay, that's it for the white lines. I also wanted to check VWAP. Okay, well, we're right at VWAP, and it looks like we've been chopping through VWAP basically the whole night. I do like the volume overnight though. Usually, if there's good volume overnight, most of the time there's good volume during New York session. So that's a good sign. Also, yesterday was pretty. It wasn't even low volume, it was just like choppy. Usually, when there's a choppy day, I try to be like, oh, yesterday was choppy, today might be better, but it could be choppy again. So just gotta keep that in mind. Do you ever use MACD for confluence when using the orb strategy? No. No, I don't. Gold has been good. It always sets up for a nice long, but the spread on it is. Yeah, gold is scary. Gold is definitely scary. It's. The contracts on it are crazy. Like with one contract, you gotta have a really tight stop loss. One regular contract. And I was backtesting silver, and I put like one contract on there, and the stop loss was like very tiny, and it was like $500. When you guys trade other things or other stocks, you gotta be aware of like your contract sizing and how much it is per point, because it's definitely really different. I used to use the MACD when I like first started trading. I'm pretty sure I still have it as an indicator here. I'm not sure though. Yeah, I do. But then I started learning supply and demand, so silver can make you rich quick and make you poor quicker in seconds. Yeah. I think I saw something on Twitter that was like someone got liquidated right at like 6 p.m. Eastern when the market opens up on silver, because they didn't know like how crazy silver is. How it's not even silver itself, it's just like the contracts, you know? Okay, I think this is it for US 30. There's really not much. Alright, we got around 15 minutes. Let's see the Trump tracker. See if he has anything. Okay, no, he doesn't. Oh, wait. Trump might be live at 10 a.m. If Trump is live at 10 a.m., I'm not going to trade after 10 a.m. Hopefully, I catch a move before then. I wonder when is the next earnings for a company in Nasdaq for like quarter 4 earnings. Well, I'm done charting, so I'm not really sure what to do except wait. Let's look at gold. Yeah, the move on gold is crazy. Very bullish. It's also very close to all-time highs. Everything's close to all-time highs. I'm gonna check out ES too. Sometimes I like to chart out ES and compare it to Nasdaq. Apex just extended their 90% off. Yeah, I'd be careful with them. I mean, I'm trading with Apex now, but I don't recommend Apex for beginners, cuz I remember being a beginner and trading with Apex, and honestly, I wasted a bunch of money. So I didn't really understand the trailing drawdown. And I also didn't understand like how to manage it. I think the only good thing about Apex is the 20 accounts. I wish another prop firm had something where you could have 20 accounts or like 10 accounts, you know? I mean, even with 5 accounts, like you can make really good money, but with 20 accounts, now we're talking like 40K months, 30K easily. Okay, honestly, I don't I don't see much on ES. Nasdaq looks a bit better. Yeah, let's look at Nasdaq. Yo, you said that about Apex and they just sent me a message talking about their sale. Do you remark your charts every morning? Yeah, every morning. I used to leave my stuff. I used to be the trader that was like scared to erase the charts. Like I was attached to my analysis for like months. But what was wrong with that was I'd be marking like old zones that did nothing. So now what I do is I do it every morning to like refresh my mind and just mark out new zones. So I realized with like newer zones, you'll get actual moves off of them. And also, I try to focus on zones that haven't been ran through or anything, like chopped on. Do you like live trading more on YouTube or Discord? I don't know. I mean, this is my second day on YouTube, and it feels the same. It's just like more. I gotta read more in the chat. With the trailing, you definitely need to use micros. Yeah, I mean, my plan with the trailing was just like do minis, which I might regret, but it worked fine yesterday. But the plan was to do minis, or literally just do one mini per account and try to get in and out. But if it's like really volatile and I have a mini, it's just very risky, especially with trading a lot of accounts. So that was the plan, was just get in and out really quick, and then once I hit like 250 in profit or something, trail my profit. Try to lock in at least a 1-to-1. And then with doing that, like once I get over 2600, which is when their trailing drawdown stops, then from there I could target 1-to-2s. But we'll see. If it's really volatile today, I'll probably just trade 5 minis, jeez, 5 micros per account. It depends though. We got 4 more minutes. Honestly, I'm looking more at Nasdaq. I like the zones more. US 30 looks good too, but it's right at all-time highs, and I'm not good at trading right at all-time highs. Plus, the zones that I have marked out on Nasdaq are a bit better. What time frame do you trade on the most? I would say the 5 minute, 5 minute for sure. I execute a lot on the 1 minute time frame, but like, for example, yesterday when it was choppy, it was definitely better to look at the 5 minute time frame. But I mainly stay on the 5 minute, 1 minute, and then 15 minute. But I only look at the 15 minute to look at like the opening range, and then to look at how the candles close. If they close out strong on the 15 minute, then most likely there's really good volume and like there's some sort of direction. Like yesterday, if you look at the 15-minute time frame when the market opened up, these 15-minute candles opened up with like huge wicks. And I mean, you could just tell it was just not the best to trade. All right, one more minute. I have US 30 on the side here, but I don't think I'm going to trade it unless it goes down past 128 and I see something like this. No, not like that. Something like this. And I would like the shorts on it, but we'll see. Who knows? I mean, it might even happen too quick, like yesterday. And like, I know I was surprised with yesterday's move, but like, this shit happens all the time on US 30. It happens a lot. It happens a couple of times a month, I would say. Like, just a crazy open. Alright, here it is. Looks like Nasdaq's tapping into this 2 hour supply zone, which we've rejected before. So we could reject it again. Okay, this 1 minute candle is closing above 50%. There's the retest. If these highs break, I would take a long. All right, it's almost breaking the highs. I'm gonna take these orders out because I don't like how I didn't have a continuation. It's also not closing above this white line here, which I don't like. US 30 tapped into that 2 hour supply zone. Kind of looks like it's rejecting it so far. Alright, well, it's staying above this 50% line. So if the highs break pretty soon, I do like the longs. This is going to be the 5 minute candle close though. And honestly, if this 5 minute closes below 646, I'd be pretty picky on the longs. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not liking that close. It's breaking structure to the downside. Yeah, that's a huge wick. Damn, and that wick was created like the last 10 seconds of that 5 minute candle. Well, it's retesting this 50% area, so. But honestly, I don't like this price action in the zone. Like, it's not what I usually see. It looks pretty choppy, at least on the 1 minute time frame. I'd want to see it get out of the zone. There it is. It's pushing up. Okay, let's see how it closes though. Because this shit is like wicking out like crazy. I don't know. I'm not liking these 1 minute candle closes. Let's see. US 30 looks like it bounced off of VWAP. I might just look at US 30. It looks way better. I'm gonna try US 30 longs and put my stop loss at 242. 240. Yeah, 44-point stop. And I'm gonna target this 2-hour supply zone up here. This is the area where I want to see it bounce off from. I want to see it break the highs like right now. I think if it doesn't break the highs now, honestly, I think it'll chop up. Okay, this looks good. I'm gonna break even here. So my new stop is at what, 287. I'm gonna start trailing this tight once it breaks the highs. Yeah, I definitely need to lock in profit, but I want to let it breathe. All right, I got stopped at break even. I don't know. I'm not liking the price action. How big is this opening range on Nasdaq? $281. Whoa. This opening range is only 70 points. Mm. I'm not gonna lie, that's like really tiny. The volume's definitely better on US 30. I'm gonna wait for the 15-minute candle to close. On Nasdaq, honestly, for me to take longs, I'd want to see at least a close above 668 or above 674. US 30, I mean, it's starting to chop up on the zone, so I don't think I'll take another trade on US 30. Probably look at Nasdaq. Let's see. I like the longs on Nasdaq, but I just haven't seen a retest. This is good though that it's going up because it's gonna tap into this 4 hour and 2 hour supply zone. Honestly, I just want to check if Trump is actually gonna speak at 10. I think if he speaks at 10, I'm better off not trading because it might get choppy. I'm trying to see if it rejects these supply zones or if we go up until the 750s if we reject it. We did reject this area yesterday, and the market does have lower volume, so I could see it going back down to the range. I like shorts here on Nasdaq. I'm gonna go short with a pretty wide stop. Okay, that might have been a bad idea. I mean, I'm still in the trade. I think I'll get stopped out for sure. It bounced off of this white line. Yeah. I had my daily max loss limit on these accounts, so I'm just gonna call it a day. That was tough. I mean, these longs were really good on US 30, but didn't take profit because I wanted it to hit the zone. Completely reversed, hit break even. And then with these longs here, I never really saw a retest of the zone. Whoops. I guess the retest was right here. But since we chopped around this area here, I wanted to see it higher. Let me see if Trump is speaking at 10. I mean, I'm going to call it a day, but I think if Trump speaks soon, I think it's going to go back down to the range. Yeah, he does speak at 10. If you guys are going to keep trading, I definitely watch what Trump is going to be saying around 10 because he's going to talk about Venezuela. So, yeah, definitely be careful. Let me journal this really quick and then I'll probably take a break. First trade took longs on US 30 after market closed above a 2-hour supply zone. Got stopped to break even. Second trade took shorts on Nasdaq after it tapped the 2-hour supply zone since it was low volume. I expected the market to go to range. Yeah, US 30's looking choppy. I'm definitely gonna call it a day just because I took one loss, one break even. I hit the daily max loss limit on these accounts. I could risk it for the biscuit, but like with the trailing drawdown, it's just really risky. Yeah. And then Trump is about to speak in 5 minutes, which makes it even just more risky. Because I feel like when he speaks, it's just really choppy. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a day. I mean, there's really nothing else for me to do except just wait for tomorrow. I already journaled. I took the trades that I thought were the best. I mean, honestly, I think another missed trade or one missed trade could have been this long on US 30. It just happened right at 9:30. Market tapped into this 30-minute demand zone and then immediately started breaking structure to the upside. Which, I mean, if I took it, I just would have needed a really wide stop or just a quick entry down here. Yeah. Alright, well, see you guys tomorrow. I think if you guys are going to keep trading, I'd watch what Trump is saying on, I think he's going to be on Fox News. And I mean, you might see crazy spikes or you might just see it start to chop up. But trade safe, trade smart. I mean, if you hit a daily max loss limit, I think the worst thing you could do is just keep trading. Yeah, live to trade another day. But alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow.